Hi, you're listening to YYC Sociables, Calgary's social experiences podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Sociables, and my job is to make sure you have something fun to look forward to every week. In between these weekly episodes, get your fix by following me on Instagram at sarah.sociables. In this week's episode, I'm talking about all the fun stuff happening in Calgary for the next 2 weeks. Yes, that's right, I'm doing a double header. Normally I just do 1 week, Monday to Sunday. But this time I'm stretching it out, so I'm going from March 1st to March 14th. And the reason I'm doing that is because we have a serious lack of events right now. Like, we're still in like a weird place with lockdown, and I've been paying attention to what's been happening on the different event websites that I track really closely. And it's just, I don't want to dwell on it, but it is a sad picture, my friends. So events that were originally scheduled in December, I watched them be moved to January because it was originally supposed to have the lockdown end. Remember, it was like the 21st of January. So I watched them be scheduled then, be moved to February, and then be moved to March. And now the March events have officially all shifted to April because event companies are still waiting on the government to open up the next phase, whatever we're in terms of the different rules. So things are really looking rough in terms of the events that are happening. I tried to, pump things up in the beginning with like, you can go for a walk or you can go skating. And I feel like you guys are probably sick of me telling you to do that. So instead of me inventing things for you to do, I'm just going to stretch out a little bit between these episodes, I think is the best plan. Because at least that way I have something interesting to talk about. And there's a few things happening that are exciting, and I'm excited to tell you. So I just wanted to let you know that I'm slowing these episodes down a little bit for now until things pick up a little bit, and then I have way more things to talk about. All right, so that said, let's thank the sponsor of this week's episode, Solutions Brewing. So I've mentioned Rob, Brendan, and Steven before. They are the members that make up Solutions Brewing. They're out of Airdrie. They have 3 beers that they're known for, the Blonde, Stout, and Red Ale. So you can find them on Instagram if you want to learn more about these 3 friends at Solutions Brewing Co. I really like their Instagram account, actually, because they post like funny, quirky things. I don't know, it shows like their personality and it's entirely original. So I encourage you to follow them on Instagram and to seek out their beers from your local liquor store. So thanks again, Solutions Brewing, for sponsoring this episode. Okay, so now on to the main segment. And if you're new here, this is where I go over the list of events I post on Instagram every Sunday. This is a curated list of local events handpicked by me because I think they're the most fun things to do in the city. The first event I want to talk about is a new one. I haven't seen this one since actually in October. Heritage Park is doing ghost tours again. So they were doing these around Halloween and they were really popular. And I think they just brought them back as like a revenue source because they were selling those out. So why not bring them back if there's the demand, right? So every Thursday in March, you can do a ghost tour at 7 or 7:30. They're doing double headers. They are outdoors. It costs $23. You can go to their website for tickets. One thing I was kind of confused about though is it says it's adult ghost tours, and I was like, what makes it like adult? Are they just saying there's no kids, or are kids allowed? I don't know. That was a little bit, I wasn't quite sure if it was too scary for kids or like what the deal was with that. So if you're a family and you're listening to this and you want to like bring your kids, maybe double check with Heritage Park to make sure that your kids are able to attend or not, or I don't know what the age cutoff is or how that works. But I did like that one. I might actually check out one of these ghost tours. I'm very curious about them. The next event I want to tell you about is the Locked Zoo, a Penguin Pursuit episode, or Penguin Pursuit theme, I guess I should say. So this is happening Saturday, March 6th, so this upcoming Saturday, and I'm surprised tickets are left for this because people love events put on by the zoo. So I'm thinking this is probably going to sell out. It's $45 entry and $60 if you want a lunch included. So the zoo has their own kitchen right on the facilities. They make pretty good food if you've ever had it before. What it is, I don't quite know. Like the theme is locked but also penguins, so it's like kind of an escape theme, and there's puzzles, so maybe there's a little bit of scavenger hunt in there too. It's during the day, it's time ticket entry, so I think you pick your time slot, so they space people out so you're not all like on the same exact, you're in the same places in the zoo in the same time, like everyone's got their own area. It's all outdoors, so again, you can feel safe and socially distanced that way. The next event I want to tell you about is by my friends at Craft Island. Now, you probably remember Craft Island because they used to be Cerveza City, and they kind of rebranded another Craft Island because they're not just doing beer, they also do cocktails, and they talk a lot about drinking, and they intermix some comedy. So if you haven't heard of Craft Island Entertainment, check out their Instagram. But they are holding an event in combination with Broken Spirits Distillery this Saturday. It starts early in the day, I think like 10:30 a.m. or something, because you want to have your Caesars fairly early. And it's $54 for a table, which works out to about $12.50 a person if there's 4 people at your table. And so that's just your price for entry, but once you're there, you get access to an exclusive one-time menu of various specialty Caesars, and you can even get flights of Caesars, and there's a special charcuterie menu that you can get to, so you can have your delicious Caesars and delicious charcuterie as well. So yeah, that's a really cool event put on by Craft Island, and I'm probably going to tell you about more events by them because they're planning on doing these at least monthly with like different themes and with different local distilleries or breweries. So someone to keep an eye on. The next event to tell you about is a virtual one. So this one is called Your Brain on Art. It is March 11th, that's a Thursday, and it's a fundraiser for the Neurological Association. So it costs $40, and that's kind of consider it like a donation, I guess, because normally they'd be doing this in real life and tickets would be a lot higher, but this is kind of all they can pull together in these times. So I feel sorry for these fundraisers. Like so many fundraisers that normally happen just aren't happening right now, but they put together a really good virtual one. If you spend $135, you get their like VIP ticket, and that includes a meal from Bridget Bar, which Bridget Bar is amazing. So I would probably, they would upsell me to that $135 ticket, no problem. So yeah, it looks really interesting because it's Your Brain on Art, so it's whatever virtual art show that they're putting together. I don't know, it sounds really interesting though. If you're interested in that, just go to yourbrainonart.ca and you'll find more information on it there. Alrighty, so the next event that I am excited about is actually sold out, but I want to tell you about it anyway because these events are so good. They're the ones that are put on by Hotels Live, and they're at that Delta South Calgary hotel where you have your balcony and you look down on the event. So these events are consistently selling out, and this one is no different. It's called Le Cirque de la Nuit, and it's kind of that circus themed. You get to watch acrobatics and a whole show. These are one of the very, very few events that are like legally allowed to happen in the province right now that are in person. And the event is allowed to do that because you're in your hotel room, you're separated from everyone else, which is really safe and fun way to participate in an event these days. So yeah, even though this particular one is sold out, I just wanted to put it on your radar because they're doing more. Because they're so popular, they're obviously making money off these events, that they keep producing them. So keep your eyes out, and when the next one goes live, make sure you jump on it. Oh, and I should mention it includes your hotel room. So the prices are like a little bit more. They start around $200 and go up from there because it's your tickets and your overnight stay, which kind of makes sense, right? Not a terrible deal. The last event I want to mention is not so much an event, but just a reason to celebrate, and I love random reasons to celebrate. It's Pi Day, so Sunday, March 14th is 3.14, and that makes it Pi Day. So, of course, we have to recognize and celebrate this, so look for a local pie place, or maybe you can make your own pie. But a couple pie places I will give a shout out to. Pies Plus. They have 80 flavors of pie. I've never heard of Pies Plus, but apparently they are a big deal around Calgary. They've been around for a long time. You can buy pies by the slice or a whole pie for $22, and I was on their website. It looked really good. The other one that you're probably familiar with is Pie Junkie, and they do both sweet pies and like the savory pot pies. I think these ones are different in terms of their sizes because they're saying that the price is $10 and that gets you a 5-inch pie. So it's like a smaller, probably one person size pot pie. They looked also really good when I was checking out their website. So I'm just giving you a heads up that Pie Day is coming and you're going to need to plan ahead so that you are celebrating on that day. Okay, so let's move on to our restaurant news. So I don't have a ton of gossip here. One thing that happened is General Block opened, and so that is the one with Village Ice Cream, Bill and Sebastian Coffee, and Una in Bridgeland. The only thing that is news kind of related to that is Una didn't actually open with the other two. I think they were a little behind, and so their opening date is March 13th. So they have a little bit of catching up to do. But right now, at any time, you can pop over to Village Ice Cream and Bill and Sebastian and look at the new cool building. That's probably something I'm going to do sometime this week. The next bit of restaurant news is Avenue Magazine released its top restaurants of the year. And I was like looking at this list because they do it annually and I'm always curious about who made it, who didn't make it, who I thought would have made it. I'm not really sure how they pick. Like I think they say it's a mix of votes but also judges. So I don't know how they weigh like one over the other and how people and how restaurants actually make it onto the list. But I'll read you the list just in case you're curious. But also you can just go to Avenue Magazine's website and look too. Alloy, this is in alphabetical order. So the first one is Alloy, which I've never been to, heard it's wonderful. Second is Bonterra. I've never been there, I don't think. I've heard good things though. Bridget Bar is the third one. Love Bridget Bar, really good. I agree with that one. Calcutta Cricket Club. I also love Calcutta, so that's awesome. Cassis Bistro. I don't know what that one is. I don't know if I said that. Cassis Bistro? Who knows? I think that one might be kind of new because I don't really know much about it, but it made the list. Deanne House is on the list. 8 is on the list. 8 is the one that's new that opened last year. They only seat 8 people, so it's very like a little pretentious that way. I have not been to 8. Flores and Pine is next. I have not been to Flores and Pine. Foreign Concept. I went there once for drinks, but I never actually ate their food, so it doesn't really count. Nupo is on there. And actually, now I think about this, Nupo is kind of like a double. So 8 is inside Nupo because it's supposed to be like kind of speakeasy style. So Nupo got on here twice. Wow, what did they do to Avenue Magazine to make the list 2 times? The next one is Rouge, and I've never actually been to Rouge. Apparently it's amazing. Una made the list, which I think Una always does. That's not surprising. We all love Una Pizza. And the final one is Bar Vonderfels. That's totally not in alphabetical order. What the heck? Oh yeah, it's because it's Vonderfels now. It's not, they like eliminated the bar. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't want people thinking it's a bar. So Vonderfels is the last one. And I've never actually been to Vonderfels. I tried to go there once and the lineup was too long, and then I didn't end up ever returning by accident. So that is the list from Avenue Magazine. I don't know how many of those you've been to or if you're planning on going to any of these. Like I should probably try to make it to some of these. They're all like kind of expensive choices though. I think that's the reason why I haven't been to a good chunk of these, because you're going to shell out some serious cash with a supper at one of these places. Yeah, so that is the restaurant news. On to brewery news. So I don't have any brewery news really. Like the whole industry is really quiet right now. They're kind of in hibernation, although I think it is busier now in tap rooms because they're open after a long period of not being opened. Like I was telling you the other week about how I tried to go to Cold Garden. I tried to go to 4 different breweries in Inglewood, and it took me like half an hour to find one that was actually open and didn't have a wait list. So actually yesterday, Saturday night, I tried to go to Elite Brewing and there was a wait, but I did make it in. It was packed in there. Like it was busy. You wouldn't have ever guessed there was a pandemic going on based on how busy Elite Brewing was. But really good beers. Had a good time. Really enjoyed Elite Brewing. I will be back, Elite Brewing. You treated me well. on to the segment where we talk about where I will be this week. So I don't have a lot going on this week planned at the moment. I'm going to go to a drag event. There's this Disco Magic drag show happening at the Delta Hotel on Saturday. So that's where like you're on the balcony and you look down, so it's all safe. So I'm gonna go check that one out. I'm excited to see how they do it because I've never actually been to this particular venue. So then you guys should watch my story so you can check out this Disco Magic drag show too. It sounds really fun. Other than that, yeah, I don't have anything planned at the moment. In terms of what I did last week, I didn't do too much. I mostly just stayed at home. I was going a little bit stir crazy just because there was nothing to do and I just wasn't leaving and had nothing to look forward to. So I did go out to Bottle Screw Bill's on Friday night. I was trying to go to Craft Beer Market because they have a really good late night menu on right now. So past 9 p.m. they have special drink and food specials. But as we drove by looking for parking, there was this massive lineup of people just waiting to get into craft. And I was like, nope, no way am I waiting for that. And I couldn't believe it. In my mind, I thought that craft would be dead. I was like, oh yeah, it's a pandemic, it's winter. There was lots of space, craft is really big, so I assumed I'd be, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna go there and I'll be the only table and there'll be so much space, it'll be quiet. Nope, it was more like a nightclub type situation that was happening at craft. So, well, I didn't actually see the inside, but I imagine it was packed if there was, 30 people waiting in line outside. So didn't end up going to craft, did end up going to Bottle Screw Bill's, which was also busy, I should mention. Most of the tables, 90% of the tables were full in bottle screws. It wasn't uncomfortably busy or anything like that. Things were still spaced out, so that part was fine. Yeah, I had a couple good beers at Bottle Screws. Always like Bottle Screws because they're just a solid choice of somewhere. I think they're old reliable, right? You don't know where to go. You're go to Bottle Screws. If your original plan doesn't work out, end up at Bottle Screws. So it's always a good kind of backup plan. Okay, so that is it for the week. I don't have anything else to tell you. So yeah, like I said, this is kind of a double header episode. And if there's anything that pops up over the next 2 weeks, then make sure that you're paying attention to my stories because I'm still going to put it on Instagram if there are any events that occur, come up in Eventbrite or something like that, and I want to tell you guys about them so that you don't miss them before I do my next podcast episode, which will be 2 weeks from now. So I hope that schedule works for you guys. Let me know if it does or doesn't. That would be greatly appreciated. I'm always interested in your feedback. So yeah, that's it for the week. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions or suggestions about anything, feel free to send me a DM on Instagram. I really appreciate that you're here and interested and excited about the same things that I am. That means the world to me. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review for me. I didn't actually get a review last week, so I'm kind of stalled in terms of my reviews. I think I have 34 and I'm trying to get to 100, so I'm still a long way off. But if I can get 1 or 2 reviews a week, that would be amazing. So at least I'm having a little bit of progress towards my goal. So if you could leave me a review, that would be greatly appreciated. And all right, have a great next 2 weeks, and I will see you then.